After an unexpected intimate night with my stepsister, I packed my bags and fled the country overnight. Years later, while I was on a beach checking out beautiful women, my mom called, faking an illness to trick me into coming back. The girl who was once so sinister and cruel had now transformed into such a sweet, obedient girl, calling me older brother so sweetly. I breathed a sigh of relief and nodded, gratified. Unexpectedly, in the middle of the night, she snuck into my room. Bai Ningbing's lips curled into a light smile, her eyes dark and unreadable. Brother, you haven't improved much after a few years abroad. Huh? Letting your guard down so quickly? Are you ready to be played to death by me, brother? When I found out my mom faked her illness, my world came crashing down. I pinched the bridge of my nose. What is this nonsense? Ms. He, you're going to get me killed like this. My mom didn't believe me. She sneered. If I didn't fake being sick to trick you, were you planning to die abroad and never come back? Indeed, I was, I said, gritting my teeth as I grabbed my suitcase and hurriedly got up. If I didn't leave now, I was afraid I'd run into Bai Ningbing. Chang, I just don't get it. What on earth did your sister do to you that you plan to never see her again for the rest of your life? Huh? My face darkened. She's not my sister. What sister in the world pokes her brother's lips? Only Bai Ningbing, that psycho. I pulled open the door with a cold face, and unexpectedly bumped into a broad embrace. Outside the door, Bai Ningbing stood straight, her eyes downcast, her expression as if nothing had happened. Brother, are you okay? 3 years apart, the once headstrong girl now had delicate features and obediently called me brother. Too innocent, too obedient. My mom's heart ached looking at her. Chang, look at your sister. We're all family. Is there anything you two can't sit down and talk through properly? Initially, I did want to talk to Bai Ningbing, but who knew she wanted to talk to me? I was momentarily speechless. She stood beside me and said softly, "Don't blame him. It was my fault. I made brother angry." Bai Ningbing turned her face away and said softly, "I know I was wrong. Brother, when I was 15, my mom and Uncle Bai started a new family. Bai Ningbing was 3 months younger than me. She obediently called me brother. So well behaved. That was my first impression of Bai Ningbing. That night, I knew I was terribly wrong. No one can take my dad away from me." Bai Ningbing whispered in my ear when no one was around. "Do you know the consequences of provoking me?" He Chang? A joke, I thought. At that time, Bai Ningbing was half a head shorter than me. I sneered, grabbing her collar, forcing her to look at me. He Chang? Is that what you call me? You disrespectful little brat? The atmosphere grew tense, until my mom called out, "Dinner's ready. Aren't you two coming to eat? What are you standing there for?" We said in unison, "Nothing. We're coming right away." Bai Ningbing sneered, "We'll see about that. He Chang, bring it on." Who's afraid of whom? I sneered back. That night, in my clean and tidy room, a mouse inexplicably appeared. I chased it around the room, hitting it as it scurried and squeaked frantically. The next morning, besides a dead mouse, Bai Ningbing's room had an added snake. When no one was in the hallway. "Thanks for the gift, brother," Bai Ningbing said blandly, pinching the snake just below its head. "Does brother like snake soup?" This was the first time she had called me brother in private. I was stunned. Crack. The snake's head immediately drooped lifelessly. Bai Ningbing still had that faint smile on her face, seemingly waiting to hear my scream. Folks, what do you do when you meet a psycho? Surrender? Bow down and act small? Of course not. You have to be even more psycho than her. Not to be outdone, I pulled out a small knife, dug out one of the snake's eyes, and threw it at Bai Ningbing. Not as good as your welcoming gift. She was still young. After all, Bai Ningbing's face paled a bit, but she still forced herself to say, "Thank you, brother." Thus began my years-long war with Bai Ningbing. At that time, I was confident of victory, unaware of how utterly I would later lose on the path of dealing with psychos. Would she know she was wrong? She knew nothing. That, brother, made my legs tremble and my heart palpitate with lingering fear. Aiya, your sister has admitted her mistake. We're family. Let's not act like strangers. My mom made the decision. Ningbing, take your brother's passport. He's always running off by himself. Do you know how worried we've been these past 3 years? I paused. My mom, annoyed, continued to nag me. This time it was just gastroenteritis. Next time, what if I really get stomach cancer? Would you dare not come back? What if I die without seeing you one last time? Her voice choked up here. My heart softened. I immediately raised my hands in surrender. All right, all right, all right, I'll listen to you. I won't go. My mom immediately beamed. Wow, I'm impressed. Just then, Bai Ningbing reached out to take my luggage. Our fingertips touched. Her expression was calm. I avoided her gaze, looking down, but my eyes subconsciously drifted to her waist. Inappropriately remembering how strong it was, I couldn't help but shiver. What's wrong? Are you uncomfortable somewhere? Bai Ningbing looked innocent. Brother, she deliberately dragged out the last syllable. I tried to stay composed. It's cold, winter has set in, and it's also drizzling. The damp chill seeps into my bones. Bai Ningbing's expression was nonchalant. Before I went abroad, Bai Ningbing and I had a huge fight. Oh, more accurately, I unilaterally beat her up. You're truly a psycho. Do you even know what you should call me? Waking up in her arms, I saw the red marks on her fair skin. Absurd. I raised my hand, about to slap myself, but Bai Ningbing grabbed my wrist. So, I slapped her twice instead. Bai Ningbing's cheeks quickly swelled, and her eyes reddened, but her tone was still obedient. I know, brother, I know. She still dares? I couldn't believe it and laughed out of anger. Fine, you're psycho enough. I can't handle you. I admit defeat. If I can't beat you, can't I run? That night, I flew abroad, blocked Bai Ningbing, and cut off all contact with her. Until today, when my mom tricked me into coming back. The faint smell of disinfectant filled the hospital room. Bai Ningbing seemed calm. Her tone was light and obedient, as if that absurd incident had never happened. What did she say? She said she knew she was wrong. I breathed a slight sigh of relief. Maybe it was true. In the evening, my mom sent us out to buy dinner. It was raining outside, and there were only a few pedestrians. Walking unhurriedly, Bai Ningbing held the umbrella handle. Her knuckles white, the umbrella tilted towards me, and her left shoulder was thoroughly soaked. I hesitated. You. Bai Ningbing looked straight ahead. Her tone calm. I really know I was wrong. Brother. Forget it. What else could be done? That night I drank too much and wasn't on guard against her. Half asleep, half awake, half pushing, half yielding. I was also at fault. All right, I paused, trying to sound as relaxed as possible. Let's pretend that incident never happened. No one is to mention it again. We are still brother and sister. Brother and sister. Bai Ningbing chewed on these 2 words and then chuckled slowly, her voice carrying an indescribable allure. Good. Just then, a strong gust of wind blew the umbrella inside out. Bai Ningbing simply let go and subconsciously pulled me into her arms. But she didn't manage to cover the scars on her wrist in time. The scars before my eyes were of various sizes. Some deep, some shallow. My heart suddenly clenched. Bai Ningbing released me and stood in the rain, looking helpless, like a child who had done something wrong. Brother. This was Bai Ningbing's way of punishing herself for her mistakes. For 3 whole years, from when I left until she learned I was coming back. It's my fault for making brother worry. Bai Ningbing said in a low voice. I won't do this anymore. She said she was young and ignorant back then, mistaking her dependence on me for romantic love. Her tone was sincere. I really know I was wrong. I won't do it again. Brother. The light rain trickled down, soaking my clothes. It was bone-chillingly cold. My hands were frozen stiff and red. I patted her shoulder. Let's not talk about it. I couldn't say anything else. Chang. Oh Chang. I asked myself in my heart. Are you even human? If I hadn't been so resolute back then, would she not have hurt herself like this? But it was too late to say anything now. You'll catch a cold if you stay in the rain any longer. Brother. Bai Ningbing said with a helpless tone. I steadied myself, forcing a calm. Okay, let's go. Brother. My vision darkened. Bai Ningbing took off her coat and held it over our heads. The distance between us suddenly closed. I was almost entirely in her embrace. Her cool, sharp scent enveloped me. I subconsciously wanted to escape. But Bai Ningbing tilted her head to look at me. Her words freezing me in place. Brother, will you never forgive me? From what I see, she really knows she was wrong. On the other end of the phone, my good buddy Lingling analyzed for me. What kind of personality does she have? You've been her brother for 10 years. Don't you know her? I remembered when Bai Ningbing was little, throwing mice into my room at home, killing snakes with her bare hands. In school, she got into a fight with a classmate over a joke and broke their bones. Even when Uncle Bai disciplined her until she couldn't stand, she wouldn't admit she was wrong. She was nothing close to obedient. A person's personality is hard to change. Although you didn't directly contact Bai Ningbing, was it hard for her to find out your whereabouts from your mom? She didn't come looking for you abroad these 3 years, but secretly punished herself. Lingling raised a key question. If it weren't a coincidence, would you have seen those scars? I held the phone, stunned. The scenes replayed in my mind, frame by frame. No. Precisely because it wasn't intentional. It meant Bai Ningbing really knew she did wrong. Rather than deliberately using this to make me feel sorry for her and let my guard down. You two are as melodramatic as a Taiwanese idol drama. Lingling sighed. If you're really worried, why not test her? Test her? I clutched the phone, hesitating for a moment. How'd I test her? Aren't you just worried she's faking it? Lingling thought for a moment and then smiled. Simple. You pretend to. The opportunity will come soon. After my mom was discharged from the hospital, we returned to our long-missed home. Uncle Bai suggested a celebration. Our family is finally reunited. Xiao Chang just came back from abroad. He must miss home-cooked food. I'll cook something delicious to celebrate. My mom, a drinker, readily agreed, clamoring for alcohol. These few days in the hospital with bland food have been killing my stomach. But her gastroenteritis had just healed. I sighed, took her glass, and downed it in one gulp. The white liquor was spicy and burned my throat. My mom then praised. In ancient times, there was Hua Mulan who took her father's place in the army. Today, there is He Chang who drinks on behalf of his mother. My alcohol tolerance was terrible, the whole family knew. Why drink so much all of a sudden? My mom was puzzled. Could our little he have suffered a broken heart abroad? Uncle Bai and my mom looked at me with gossipy expressions. Bai Ningbing sat opposite, her eyes downcast, her expression calm, only pausing slightly as she played with her wineglass. No, not at all, I denied. I'm just happy to be home. I wasn't lying. For countless days and nights, I had leaned against the window. Outside, skyscrapers towered, and the city lights glittered. Beautiful and dazzling, but it wasn't my home. When I missed home, I drank, day after day. My alcohol tolerance had somewhat improved, but they just didn't know. I looked at the silent Bai Ningbing and smiled. Ningbing, why aren't you drinking? Aren't you happy I'm back? Bai Ningbing didn't drink much. My mom instructed her to take care of drunk me. I curled up in bed, eyes closed, pretending to be asleep. My temples throbbed violently. I've figured it out. If Bai Ningbing does anything out of line, it proves she's deceiving me. Then I'll leave. If not, then forget it. The room was dim and quiet. Silent. For a long time, I thought Bai Ningbing had left. Just as I was about to drift off to sleep, a cool, sharp scent suddenly approached. Bai Ningbing's voice was low and husky, as if coming from far away. Brother. My brow twitched. Bai Ningbing leaned closer. I could feel her gaze lingering on my face for a long time. But she only reached out to tuck me in. She sighed, her voice even lower. Brother, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Even when she thought I couldn't hear, she was apologizing. It seemed she really knew she was wrong. I was in a daze. Bai Ningbing wouldn't like me anymore. It should have been something to be happy about. Yet I inexplicably felt a little sour in my heart. For the next few days, Bai Ningbing and I coexisted peacefully. She had now taken over Uncle Bai's company, leaving early and returning late. Decisive and efficient. And I at home, no longer had to live in fear as before. We had both moved on. This was very good. This day, Ling Ling called, her voice excited. Chang, my sister is back. She said she wouldn't come back unless you did. The moment I told her you were back, she immediately booked a flight home. If this isn't for you, I'll eat my hat. His sister, Lin Wanyue, was also my ex-girlfriend. I hadn't heard that name in a long time and was stunned for a good while. Tonight, I plan to throw a welcome dinner for my sister. You should come too, Ling Ling asked earnestly. Your troubles are resolved. Next, you can consider your own life's major events. Consider my sister, the heartbroken puppy after you dumped her. How about it? Don't be absurd, I blurted out. Something shattered on the other end of the phone. Ling Ling stammered. Xiao Chang, are you reconsidering? On the other end, Lin Wanyue took a deep breath. I also sucked in a breath. Damn Ling Ling, so this call was on speakerphone from the beginning. Can't friends be a little mischievous? Friends? Me and her? I almost doubted my ears. Our breakup was so ugly. We could be said to be strangers who would never meet again. Now she said, tonight at 8, if you don't come, I won't leave. Speaking of which, Lin Wanyue and I broke up because of Bai Ningbing. At that time, we had only been together for 3 months. She suddenly asked me, does Bai Ningbing like you? Bai Ningbing? My sister? I was instantly struck by lightning. But my tone was surprisingly calm. Impossible. Who did you hear that from? Not heard. Lin Wanyue rubbed her temples. We've been on 10 dates. And we've, coincidentally, run into her 9 times. Chang, she's 25, not 15. She's a woman. Don't you find it strange that she's so clingy to you? My hands trembled so much I couldn't even light a cigarette. An inexplicable panic and shame swept over me. What nonsense are you talking about? I said Bai Ningbing liked Lin Wanyue. Patiently, word by word. Maybe it's because she didn't interact with other girls during puberty. Chang, take her to see a psychologist. She said Bai Ningbing was sick. By the time I reacted, Lin Wanyue had already been slapped so hard her head turned away. I opened my mouth, clearly wanting to apologize, but could only say, let's break up. At that time, I only thought Lin Wanyue was possessive and jealous even of my sister. Little did I know that the person involved is confused. But the onlooker sees clearly. I sighed, pushing away these thoughts, and opened the door. The large private room was dimly lit. Ling Ling saw me come in, winked at me, then turned and ran out. The door to the private room wasn't closed properly. The drumbeat of rock music drifted in from the hallway. Thump, thump, thump. Lin Wanyue stubbed out her cigarette. Long time no see. Long time no see. I smiled awkwardly. Sorry, that had been owed for 3 years tumbled around in my throat for a long time before finally coming out. I'm sorry. Lin Wanyue shook her head and smiled. It's okay. It's all in the past. Back then, I shouldn't have made wild guesses. If anyone should apologize, it should be me. She didn't know what happened between Bai Ningbing and me later. How could it really be okay? At this moment, I suddenly clearly realized that some things, once they happen, have happened. I couldn't explain when Bai Ningbing's feelings for me started to change. Clearly, at the beginning, she only called me brother when she was deliberately trying to disgust me. Maybe it was in the 3rd year of middle school. Uncle Bai took my mom to Paris for business negotiations. The huge house was left with only me and Bai Ningbing. On a stormy night, the TV news reported, the flight to Paris has lost contact with the control tower. The situation is dire. The living room lights weren't on. 16-year-old Bai Ningbing was huddled in a corner, her head in her hands, her face pale, trembling all over. Only then did I know that Bai Ningbing's mother had died in a plane crash. Also on such a stormy day, Bai Ningbing would be terrified. Look at me, I lifted her face. They'll be fine. Actually, I was super scared too. Scared that the next second, there would be bad news about mom and dad in the report. Scared that mom and dad really wouldn't come back. Scared to the point of trembling. But I was the older brother. I had to be brave. Don't worry, brother is here. No matter what, brother will never leave you alone. That night, Bai Ningbing had a high fever. All night long, she called out, Dad. Mom. her forehead covered in dense beads of sweat. I didn't sleep, staying by her bed and taking care of her all night. When dawn broke, Bai Ningbing opened her eyes. I also received news from Uncle Bai that they were safe. Brother, Bai Ningbing's voice was incredibly docile. I'm hungry. Okay. My voice softened unconsciously. You wait Guai Guai, obediently, for me. Later, Bai Ningbing brought a good friend home for a sleepover. The 18-year-old girl had cold, sharp eyes and sweetly called me, brother. He's my brother, 18-year-old Bai Ningbing said. Her eyes cold, her voice dark and warning. Fine, Bai Ningbing's brother. I didn't expect you to be such a bro-con. The girl pouted boo Manda. And I holding a fruit platter. Circled these two childish individuals. Feeding them, and couldn't help but chuckle. Bai Ningbing started to cling to me. But I just treated her like a child. Until my 20th birthday, I accidentally discovered that my changed underwear would magically disappear. And then magically reappear a few hours later. Damp, as if re-washed. Once, I leaned against the bathroom door. My face cold. Is this fun? Have you been watching too many weird things? Bai Ningbing looked up abruptly. Her gaze meeting mine. Her voice was hoarse. Brother. That was the first time I hit Bai Ningbing. She silently endured it, apologized, and said it would never happen again. A teenage girl, impulsive and hot-headed. Fine, I understood. After that, Bai Ningbing was as normal as could be. I gradually forgot. Until Lin Wanyue exposed it. I was shocked and angry. And broke up with her. Dazed, I returned home early. The room was pitch black. But there was a barely audible sound of breathing coming from the closet. My face cold, I suddenly pulled open the closet door. Bai Ningbing was actually inside. All evening, I was frequently distracted. Lin Wanyue smiled rather helplessly. Let's go. I'll take you home. It was late, and the temperature had dropped sharply. Snow began to fall from the sky. I stared blankly at the old parking permit on the front passenger side. A gift I had casually given her back then. She had kept it all this time. Reluctant to throw it away. Lin Wanyue smiled as she started the car. Oh dear, how embarrassing to be caught out in front of the person himself. It was only a 10-minute drive. But I felt restless. Lin Wanyue sighed. Back then, I was too childish. Chang, I was only focused on my own jealousy and didn't consider your feelings. She said. Can we at least start as friends? Were you serious back then? I rolled down the car window. The cold wind rushed in. I was incredibly clear-headed. Bai Ningbing had indeed liked me. My tone was calm. Later, we slept together. A harsh screech of brakes. The car stopped right in front of my house. Thank you for taking me home. I smiled. You should head back early too. In just a short 10 minutes. A thin layer of snow had already covered the ground. I suddenly realized that when I was previously suspected, I was shocked and angry. Now, actually saying it out loud wasn't as embarrassing as I had imagined. So, Lin Wanyu's voice was sharp and strained. You like her too? I closed my eyes and said nothing. At least, not back then. When did I realize it? Countless lonely nights abroad. I tossed and turned, always dreaming of a clean, obedient voice softly calling me, brother. I would hug him, her. The girl's earlobes would turn red. The car engine died. Lin Wanyue turned her head to brush the snowflakes off my shoulder. Chang, I can wait. I knew what she was saying. Bai Ningbing and I were not allowed. At least, my mom and Uncle Bai wouldn't approve. Waiting and waiting. I would eventually have to marry someone. Right? I smiled. Don't wait. It's not like you'll die if you don't get married. It was very late. It seemed everyone was asleep. I tiptoed back to my room, closed the door, and reached for the light switch. My wrist was suddenly grabbed. A scorching heat. I froze. Bai Ningbing? I thought you weren't coming back tonight. I made a lot of calls. But you didn't pick up. Brother. The last two words were bitten out with emphasis. I took out my phone. Indeed, there were many missed calls from Bai Ningbing. You said you would never leave me alone. Those words I said casually on that stormy night to comfort her. She remembered them all. But only I remember. Bai Ningbing looked up and smiled self-deprecatingly. Chang, You lied to me. Didn't she say she knew she was wrong and wouldn't like me anymore? My heart tightened, but my tone was feigning indifference. I lied to you? So what? Did I seduce you? The moon hung high in the sky, its light spilling through the floor-to-ceiling window. No. Bai Ningbing's expression was wooden. It was me being despicable. I looked at her coldly. Did I ever say anything nice to you? No. Not only that, I had called her a psycho until I was hoarse. Slapped her until my palms stung. I had clearly told her I didn't like her. That I was disgusted by her. And that she couldn't like me either. In the darkness, Bai Ningbing suddenly let out a soft laugh. She quickly and accurately grabbed my wrist again. Then our palms overlapped, fingertips invading, and then our fingers intertwined. Bai Ningbing bent down, closer to me, her breath warm. She advanced. I retreated. I stumbled back, step by step, until I was pressed against the floor-to-ceiling window. I had taken off my coat when I came in. The glass of the window was freezing. So cold it made my heart tremble. But I just like you. She tilted her head to look at me, a mischievous smile playing on her lips. What are you going to do about it? My dear brother, why don't you kill me? Let go. I avoided her fiery gaze, trying to keep my voice calm. Bai Ningbing, you're being psycho again. If you let go and leave my room now, I can pretend nothing happened. What? Scared now? He Chang, she whispered my name, her voice lingering. I thought you rushed back because you were ready to be done in by me. This done in clearly didn't mean that done in. I was ashamed and angry, my voice trembling. You're sick. Let me go. Bai Ningbing smiled but didn't speak, instead cupping my chin, forcing me to look outside. He Chang, look. That woman downstairs still hasn't left. Downstairs, Lin Wanyu's Maybach was still parked by the roadside, already covered in a thin layer of snow. And she herself was by the car door, the tip of her cigarette glowing and dimming. You went out to see her without telling me. And you didn't answer my calls. Bai Ningbing lowered her eyes to look at me. Are you getting back together with her? He Chang? So what if I am? Is it any of your business? I was so agitated I wanted to scream. Bai Ningbing just smiled. As long as she looks up, she'll see us, clearly see us entangled. Before she leaves, she'll always want to look up at you one last time. Right? Bai Ningbing stared at Lin Wanyue, who was stubbing out her cigarette. Do you think she'll find out? Bai Ningbing smiled mischievously, while Lin Wanyue, unaware, brushed the snow off herself, opened the car door, and seemed about to look up. Being told and being seen were two different things. In my panic, I grabbed Bai Ningbing's hand with one hand and pushed hard against her chest with the other. Bai Ningbing stumbled back a few steps and fell onto the soft bed. Losing my support, I fell into her embrace. Bai Ningbing raised her hand, her fingertips pressing on my lower back, a half smile on her face. Does this count as throwing yourself into my arms? She was actually teasing me now. I was furious and frustrated, wanting to get up, but my hair got tangled in the buttons of her shirt. I sucked in a breath, pulled back by inertia. Untangle it for me, I gritted out. Bai Ningbing chuckled softly. No rush. Beg me. Beg your grandma, I muttered, trying to untangle it myself. But she grabbed my hand. Her heartbeat thudded against my ear. Chang, you say you don't like me. I don't believe you. The truth is hidden between the lines. I told her I didn't like her. That I was disgusted by her. That she couldn't like me either. You said, can't like me. Chang, open your eyes and look at me. Bai Ningbing smiled, revealing her scarred wrist. Don't you feel sorry for me? Brother? Don't you miss me? Brother? You do feel sorry for me. And you do miss me. Otherwise, why go through the trouble of faking being drunk to test me? You're just afraid to be with me. Chang. Bai Ningbing's tone was certain. One sentence after another, I was completely defenseless. I finally looked up, my gaze carefully tracing her features. Like, but so what? Does liking someone mean you have to be together? I said, I don't want our family to fall apart. Bai Ningbing, my dad wasn't good to my mom. She once lost hope in marriage until she met Uncle Bai. Uncle Bai is honest and kind, treating me like his own son. And yet, I'd be stealing his only daughter. Is that right? It's right, Bai Ningbing said leisurely, entangling my hair. I could finally sit up. But she still held me tightly in her embrace. Chang, what makes you so sure our family will fall apart if we're together? In the moonlight, her eyes were like water. If you don't try, why assume the worst? The person before me casually moved her wrist. And the scars on it moved too. She let go, her tone aggrieved. Chang, it hurts. I wanted to say, hurts like hell? Those are all old scars. I also wanted to say, you're sick, you deserve it. I really wanted to slap her twice. But my gaze fell on Bai Ningbing's trembling eyes. My lips quivered, and finally, I could only manage. Silly girl. The temperature in the room climbed steadily. The winter snow melted, giving off steam. Juices were boiling. The next day, I woke up late, the sun already high. I opened my eyes and met Bai Ningbing's gaze. Awake? Why didn't you get up first? I wondered. And you didn't wake me up either. Luckily, Uncle Bai and Mom weren't home at this hour. So we wouldn't be caught. Wanted to look at you a bit longer. I think you're sick. Bai Ningbing chuckled lightly, gently rubbing my lower back. I instantly became alert. No way. Why? Was she really planning something? I pinched the bridge of my nose. Quite speechless. In broad daylight. Can't you behave? What if someone hears? Bai Ningbing's expression was calm. Then let's go have lunch. As the room door opened, pop, countless colorful confetti rained down. I instinctively took 2 steps to the right, distancing myself from Bai Ningbing. My mom and Uncle Bai stood at the door, the small party poppers still in their hands. Happy birthday. I squatted on the spot, only then remembering that today was my birthday. They were all home to prepare a surprise celebration for me. But how to explain Bai Ningbing sneaking out of my room? So grown up and still sleeping in the same room as your brother? Is that right? We stared at each other. All 4 of us, face to face. The atmosphere was dead silent. It was Bai Ningbing who broke the silence first. Dad, Auntie I have something to tell you. I almost forgot she was going to lay it all out so dramatically. My mom and Uncle Bai clearly hadn't reacted yet. Their expressions blank. Bai Ningbing suddenly knelt. They were startled. I like brothers. Bai Ningbing's tone was firm. But she paused before the last part. Ex-girlfriend. Uncle Bai jumped. What did you say? Uncle Bai couldn't believe his ears. You like Xiao Chang's ex-girlfriend? You like girls? Bai Ningbing's expression was calm as she slowly nodded. Uncle Bai was breathing heavily. Speechless. My mom quickly supported him, her gaze shifting between me and Bai Ningbing. Really? Her expression still held a hint of gossipy excitement. I neither admitted nor denied it. It seems so. Bai Ningbing was still kneeling, her back straight, her expression calm, as if she wouldn't stand up unless Uncle Bai agreed. The compromise effect. The room was too dark. If someone proposed opening a skylight, everyone would surely refuse. But if they proposed removing the roof, they would come to a compromise and agree to open a skylight. I pinched the bridge of my nose. It was quite a scheme she'd come up with. Uncle Bai, as expected, wasn't very supportive. Throughout the meal, he sighed and seemed to have no appetite. Who could you like but Xiao Chang's ex-girlfriend? Even if, by some stretch, you liked Xiao Chang. My hand, holding chopsticks, paused. I looked up. Uncle Bai was berating himself. Xiao Chang. I'm sorry, I was too hasty. I moved my lips, really wanting him to take back that apology. But in the end, I held back. My mom, however, burst out laughing. Uncle Bai turned to her. What are you suddenly laughing foolishly for? My mom composed herself. Nothing. But the joy in her eyes was unconcealable. Uncle Bai drank a cup with a choa, worried expression. The children's major life events are quite worrisome. My mom said with a smile. Chang, I think your major life event should be settled too. How about this? Auntie Wang's daughter is quite nice. She also just came back from studying abroad. You'll definitely have common topics. She's pretty, humorous, good in every way. Why not meet her? Good in every way? Bai Ningbing smiled. Auntie is she better than me? The atmosphere fell into an awkward silence. Uncle Bai still hadn't reacted. Looking confused. Ningbing, you're good in your own way. But there's a difference here. My mom cleared her throat, feigning seriousness. There are standards for a daughter. And standards for a daughter-in-law. They can't be confused. Bai Ningbing nodded lightly. The arrangement came so suddenly. Then, Auntie He, do you think I'm qualified to be your daughter-in-law? As soon as she finished speaking, Uncle Bai spat out a mouthful of wine. As expected, my mom couldn't be fooled. Her heart was like a clear mirror. HMPH. 3 years ago, you ran abroad in such a hurry. I guessed something was up between you two. After you came back, you two were even more unbearable to watch. My mom covered her eyes in mock disgust. If I still couldn't see it, I'd be blind. Blind? Uncle Bai silently sulked. Then vented his anger on Bai Ningbing. You brat, what kind of roundabout tactic was that? Tricking me into saying you like Xiao Chang's ex-girlfriend? Uncle Bai sneered. When you heard me say, why not just like Xiao Chang? You were quite pleased with yourself. Weren't you? Very pleased. Uncle Bai was so angry he wanted to hit her. Bai Ningbing took my hand and stood up. Then we won't disturb your private time with Auntie He. Behind us, Uncle Bai was fuming. Listen to that. Is that human talk? Saying, not disturb us? I think she's afraid we'll disturb her. Shameless. Probably inherited it from you. Huh? Their voices gradually faded behind us. Outside, the wind howled, and snow fell heavily. Bai Ningbing bent down to adjust my scarf. Her hand holding mine tightly the whole way. I asked curiously, where are we going? She smiled. To have our own private world. Our clasped palms were warm. Though it was winter, I was inexplicably reminded of lush green branches and a gentle spring breeze. Snow covered the long street. Quietly, little by little, melting away. Outside, the sun was shining brightly. It was a rare, beautiful day. Well then, I'm going to start falling in love.